Welcome to Chassa's Crazy Creation.
And today is another craft or crap challenge.
You decide.
Rule number 1, it must include jars and bottles. And I am so excited because I have been saving these bottles and jars for a project like this. Rule number 2, it must be Halloween themed. And I found this bundle of stickers on Amazon. You can look for the link in the description below. Now, of course, I washed and cleaned all of the bottles and then removed the labels. I might also suggest cleaning the glass with rubbing alcohol. Once this bottle was dry, I peeled off the sticker and placed it on the bottle.
If you like these DIYs, you might be interested in my new DIY books.
You can click the link above, or you can find all of the details in the description below. And I continue to do this to a variety of jars and bottles. So here's my tip on getting labels removed from bottles and jars easily. Soak them in soapy water for about 10 minutes and most of the labels fall right off. If you have the extra gunk, rub coconut oil on the top of it, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then that gunk will come right off as well. Now, let me get my lab coat on and let's do some science experiments. Okay, not really, but let's have some fun. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a funnel to the top, and then I'm going to grab some water and fill up this bottle. I'm going to use some food coloring that I found at the dollar store. For this first bottle, I'm using the color red, and I just love to watch the food coloring fall and float into the water. Now, let's play a little game. I want you to guess what each of the labels will say. This one says vampire blood. So I'm going to fill the next bottle up with water. And for this one, I'm adding yellow and red. Okay, can you guess what it's going to say? This one says pumpkin juice. This one, I'm going to use a jar, and I'm going to fill it up with water. And I'm going to use the color blue and red. Can you guess what this one says? Witch's brew. I've been saving this unique shape bottle, and I'm going to fill this one up with water too. I'm adding green food coloring to this one. Can you guess what this one says? It says snake bite tonic. This used to be jalapeno limeade from Trader Joe's, which, by the way, is delicious. I'm filling this one up with water. Now, as you can see, I saved a little room for this one, and I want to do a little something different with this one. I'm pouring in a cup of coffee into the top of this one. So this one was a little too light for my liking, so I'm adding some of the grounds to the water so that it will darken over time. And this jar, can you guess what it says? Killer coffee. This is the last bottle, and I'll be doing something with the other jars and bottles in a second. And for this one, I'm adding the color yellow. Last chance to guess. This one says albino spider cider.
Want my free to-do list? Look for the link in the description below.
This is an old pickle jar, and I'm just taking one of those squeezy skulls and placing it in the center of this one. For this one, I added some bugs that I found at dollar store. They had scorpions, praying mantises, centipedes, and more. Now, I didn't love that this jar wasn't completely full, so later I added some spider rings to the mix and some water. For this jar, I found a package of 12 eyeballs at the dollar store, and I'm just adding all of these inside the jar. Our family farm has a black walnut tree, so I grabbed a bunch of those and I placed them into a jar. And then I grabbed another jar and I filled it full of a bunch of acorns. Now these last two jars you could leave out year-round for fall. Now this jar was just laying around, and so I decided to use it as well. So I grabbed some Dial soap that was bright yellow and I poured it into this jar. And I grabbed a bunch of confetti spiders and I placed them into the jar with the soap. Now there wasn't quite enough soap to fill the jar, so I added a little bit of water, but it kept the same yellow color and I was able to stir the spiders in better. And for this next DIY, I grabbed a skeleton garland that I found at Dollar Tree. It has 4 skeletons on it. I removed all of the skeletons and then I cut each of them apart, but I wanted to leave some of the string in case I would need it. Now this jar happens to be an old Planters peanut jar. You know, the kind they put peanuts in during the holiday season. I've been saving it for such occasion like this. So I grabbed one of the skeletons and I placed it inside, and I grabbed the string and hung it over the edge, and I placed the lid on top so that it would look like the skeleton was standing inside, and I trimmed up the edge of the cord. Now I have this creepy skeleton hanging out in a jar. Now this is a lantern I found at a thrift store. And I grabbed a battery-operated tea light and I'm placing it inside this little lantern. I'll have another one that I use an LED light in as well. Now for this one, I was able to trim the twine off the top of him, and I placed him inside this little lantern because he would stand up nicely on his own. Now I could hang this one up as this one comes with a chain, but that's not what I'm going to be doing with it. And I happen to have a couple of bottles that I've been waiting to do something fun with. I started by unwinding the lights, and then I started pushing them into the bottle. Once I got all of the lights into the bottle, I just put the cork on top. I went ahead and did this with a second bottle. There is a little switch at the top that turns them on and off. Now, I could have used some more stickers, but I wanted to show you another trick, and this is using the dollar store window clings. I added window clings to each of the bottles. Then when the holiday is done, I just remove them and I can use the bottles for something else without having to soak them all over again. Rule number 3, we had to make some sort of display with all of it. So get ready, we're gonna set it all up. My display is going to be on my mantle, and I started by adding a strand of orange LED lights all the way around the mantle. Now I have a mirror above my mantle, and I started by adding a creepy window cling to it. Then I added the battery-operated LED light bottles to the mantle on either side. Next, I added 3 of the bottle labels, spacing them apart. Then I added 2 of the other bottles with the liquid in them as well. And I just built on that. I added the skull, the bugs, the witch's brew, and the spiders, the large skeleton jar, and then I started moving things around a little bit until I created the look that I wanted to. I added the little skeletons and the acorns and the walnuts, and I just moved them all over until I got the look I was going for. Now get ready. I'm going to show you what it all looks like during the day. So sit back and relax. I'm going to share with you the whole display while it's lit up during the daytime. Now I have to share, I wasn't thrilled with the way things were lighting up, so I added a few more LED candles and some of these pop lights behind to help light things up. So please allow me to put on my witch hat and wave my magic wand, and let's check it out at night. Now hop on over to Mona's and check out her project and let us know, is it craft or crap? You get to decide. And guess what? You can buy 2, get 1 free of my books today. Look for the link and all the details in the description below. Want to be featured? And don't forget, we have a Facebook group too and a sign-up form to be notified of future videos. Look for all the details down in the description below. Thanks for watching,
And I'll see you in my next video.
and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.